So last week, we started Monday's show with news that there was a Illinois State Police trooper that was shot by a Chicago murder suspect. And there was a multi-hour lockdown of the community here in Springfield, just off of Toronto Road, if you're familiar with the Springfield area. You know, it's right down the street from a university, right off the highway, I-55, but you know, it's a decent place. There was a pullover that was initiated by an Illinois State Police trooper at about 10:45, and it turned into that trooper being shot multiple times. Now, thankfully, the trooper is recovering, and we'll actually hear from the trooper's close family, including his fiancée, his mom, and his dad. But yesterday, we got an update on that case, not just on the suspect, Cristobal Santana, who's a wanted man from Chicago in a murder that happened up there. You've got police yesterday, Illinois State Police, releasing video. Now, warning, this is somewhat graphic. It's not gory, but you see shots being fired, and you see, grainy images of an injured trooper making his way back to his vehicle. But I'll let Illinois State Police Director Brendan Kelly somewhat narrate the videos that were released by Illinois State Police yesterday. Again, viewer discretion advised. All right, so I just want to make sure that you're aware of this content. This was released. I edited these parts together.
During the late evening
director.
hours of Tuesday, October 24th, 2023, Cody conducted a traffic stop at the 1600 block of Toronto Road in Springfield. He approached the vehicle and began speaking with the driver, identified as Cristobal Santana. At some point during the conversation, Santana exited his vehicle and fired at least 10 shots at Cody, some of which struck him, at least 2, one at each leg. Cody tried to take cover, but the suspect ran after him, catching up to him, and repeatedly struck him in the head and face with the gun after completely emptying the magazine. Cody suffered facial fractures, a skull fracture, and a brain bleed, in addition to being struck multiple times by gunfire, as I described. By the grace of God, by his own endurance, and with the help of the public and first responders, Cody has survived this brutal attack. 2 good Samaritans who are here with me, Travis Rebbe and Lucas Wood, called for help and provided aid to Cody unseen. Officer Alex Barnes for the University of Illinois Springfield Police Department was first on scene and was able to place a tourniquet on Cody, followed by Trooper Simeon Sedilia, who was the first ISP on the scene. Police officers from multiple departments converged on the area in a matter of minutes to assist Cody and search for the suspect. ISP Division of Patrol officers, the ISP SWAT from the Division of Criminal Investigation, and local SWAT teams were activated along with crisis response teams. Drones and canines were also deployed. ISP, we had our plane in the air and spotted the suspect running across the road, helping officers on the ground close in and apprehend the suspect. Within 3 hours of this bloody attack on Cody, the suspect was taken into custody. Well, he was apprehended and he was injured during the course of the apprehension, and that was in my comments here that I laid out. So he is in custody and receiving appropriate medical treatment.
So again, that's Illinois State Police Director Brendan Kelly talking about some of the particulars of the case and how they released video yesterday. He wouldn't go into the details. I even asked him to, put what's on the video in his own words, and he says you'll see it. And obviously, sharing some of that video with you this morning. And it is, it's tough to watch in some instances. So Cody, the trooper, Dakota Chapman Green, he is recovering, and we'll hear from his loved ones about how thankful they are for the community support. But Sangamon County State's Attorney Dan Wright was at that news conference yesterday as well, sharing details about the 5 different charges that they leveled against Cristobal Santana, a 37-year-old from Chicago who's wanted there for murder. But now he's also charged down here with attempting to murder a police officer. 5 different charges. You're talking dozens of years, if not life in prison, all stacked up on top of each other if he's found guilty of this. Here's Dan Wright.
Those charges were filed on October 26th, and we likewise, on the same date, filed a petition to deny the defendant pretrial release pending his trial. The hearing was held, and the court made the requisite findings to grant our petition to hold the defendant in custody pending his trial. His next court appearance is scheduled for November 9th, 2023 at 9 a.m. at the Sangamon County Courthouse.
So obviously those charges going to stack up, and they did indeed motion to hold that accused individual behind bars pending trial, no bail. It's part of the no cash bail law in Illinois, where if they are able to prove that the individual is a threat within 48 hours, then they can be held without being allowed pretrial release. So that's obviously a case that's going to continue on, and the family of Dakota Chapman Green, known as Cody, the state trooper shot in this, who took at least 2 rounds in the legs, had shattered bones and even brain bleed. He's recovering. His mother, Chris, his father, Jimmy, and his fiance, Maddie, they were there at the news conference yesterday, sharing their appreciation for all the support, but also one thing that the father, Jimmy, said was this is a parent's worst nightmare, is to get that phone call. But here's Chris, Jimmy, and Maddie.
From the time I got to the hospital, everyone, the staff, and all the police officers and all the different agencies were just absolutely amazing to me. And Cody is a super trooper. He is making great strides. Every day he is making improvement, and he cannot wait to come back to work.
Can't thank everybody enough for all the thoughts and prayers. We just want our boy to get better. He loves being a trooper, and he'll never quit being a trooper. He has one speed. Let's go. I can't slow him down. I've tried.
Cody's doing so incredibly well. There's no longer conversations of surgeries that are necessary, and he's up and talking throughout the day, which we all love to hear him. We just all love to hear him talk. He still has a long road ahead of him, but God was with him that night and protected him from the absolute worst.
So pretty heart-wrenching, really, thinking about that case. But the suspect, again, Cristobal Santana, charged with 5 counts down here in Sangamon County. He's also wanted for murder up in Chicago, so that case is going to continue as well. But what about the firearm owner status of Santana? I asked that question of State Police Director Brendan Kelly yesterday, whether or not Santana was ever a valid FOID card holder. And here's his response.
That's information that is protected by Illinois state law, but there will be an appropriate time and a place where that will be publicly made available. We'll try to get you documents that get you an answer to that question as soon as they're within the public domain. That's a state law about what we can and can't answer.
So clearly there's going to be more information about that case in particular. I've already seen some news releases from those pushing for more gun control, saying that this individual could have been prevented from having firearms if they passed a law at the State House to control guns by requiring police to confiscate firearms from individuals who have orders of protection against them. So if this individual didn't have a FOID card, then there was no indication to police that he owned firearms. So, the question of how they would go about confiscating something they don't know about, that's a good question. But obviously that's a question that we'll likely hear more answers to at a later date. But I think it's an important question because, listen, I mean, there's been several instances of even those who had firearm owner identification cards who were supposed to not have a FOID card because either they had a out-of-state felony charge, as was the case back in, 2019 with the that warehouse shooting up in northern Illinois. If you recall that case, a disgruntled employee goes in, it was a mass shooting, and that individual is ultimately shot and killed by police, I believe, to even the July 4th parade shooting in Highland Park. That individual had a FOID card, despite having a clear and present danger report filed by local police to Illinois State Police. So what are we looking at here, and as far as whether or not laws have been followed to keep firearms out of prohibited individuals' hands? Here we go, waiting for more information about that, but some already trying to make political hay out of it. So clearly ongoing stuff that we're going to continue to track. I'm Greg Bishop. Thanks for hanging out. It is Bishop on Air. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow along, and find me anywhere. Just search Bishop on Air on X, on Facebook, on YouTube. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Not just a live show each and every weekday morning, but we clip out segments of the program so you can stay informed to get on with your day. For those of you who are looking for some merchandise, greatly appreciate that. I sent out a few more patches to people who said that the mail screwed up and didn't get them their patch. Somebody else over on the East Coast told me that they still hadn't gotten their patch, dropped one in the mail, and then they emailed later saying, oh, finally got it. It was postmarked October 17th. Took that long to get over on the East Coast. Come on, U.S. Postal Service. All right, have yourself a wonderful rest of the day, and be back here tomorrow. All right, it's around 7:30ish Central Time. If you want to tune in, either way, you can catch the clips later on throughout the day, as I know a lot of you do. So appreciate everybody tuning in, and that's all I got for you on this Wednesday. We'll be back tomorrow to talk more about the public hearing that's set for 9:30 in Springfield. Don't forget, if you want to speak publicly during that hearing, you have to register with Illinois State Police your comments. You can go and find out more. isp.legal.publiccomments@illinois.gov no later than 12:30 today, Wednesday. You gotta file and say that you want to speak publicly. First hearing is Thursday. All right, so here in Springfield, we'll cover that, and we'll be back here tomorrow morning. All right, have yourself a great day. Be safe.